How's it going, YouTube? So, as you can see, there has been quite the change up in the driveway. The two Jettas are gone. That yellow dump truck's way back there in the back. And we have a lot of auction items here. So, to quickly run through, we have on the right, 2001 E450 box truck. 2000 E350 box truck. Whoops, it's trying to focus on me. Right here is a 2006 F250 gasser. Both of the box trucks are diesels. This is a 1999 E250. And then up there next to my white truck, we have a 2006 Ford Ranger up there. And then we have a 1986 beverage trailer, which is actually kind of neat because when you come around to the side here, it kind of looks like a concession truck with how it opens up, but when you open it, it's got taps for beer. So I bought this thinking it was just a normal trailer, and it's not. And then I don't know which is which. One of these, I'm going to say this one because I have no idea, is a 1998 Aero board, and that one, I have no idea which again, is a 2000 Aero board. So I have kind of been trying to figure out what's up with these Aero boards and go from there. So on first inspection, that Aero board has a bad tire. However, I pulled the tire off of this one after I towed it home, and then took it to the place, slapped it on this one, and towed this one back. The tire that probably will end up there is currently at a shop near my house. They'll have it done tomorrow for me, and then we'll be able to get it off the hijack. Additionally, these batteries charge. The Aero board, some of the lights work, some of them don't. So, but I'm not going to mess with this one too much while it's on that jack stand. Just prefer to have it on stable ground. Which brings us over to this one. I have a friend who said he might have an interest in buying these Aero boards, as well as a couple of the trucks actually, because I don't know if it's his company or what's going on, but they said they were looking for some Aero boards and some trucks. Now, looking at this Aero board, these are solar powered. And if I were to fold this one up, it's missing the little box on the back of the solar panel that converts the power to here. So I'm robbing that one to power this one to turn it on. And so far what I've found is about half of the lights light up. And I went through and got this light actually working now. You can see, like this one, it is lighting up. It just looks weird on camera. Lighting up looks weird on camera. It was a bad ground. So this is the old ground. I just taped it back, and I came over here and tied into the neighbor's ground, ran it over here. That one's now working. So I have a handful, I think the light in the center back there, and then I'm gonna have to come over, and there's a couple over here. I just currently have this flashing, but I have it set up right now so it should be lighting up all the lights, and that'll let me go through one at a time, pull the light down, test it out. Is it a bad ground or is it a bad power? And if it's a bad power, this obviously does have where like you can do the arrow to either side. So I assume the lights in the middle are tied in together, and then this arrow point's probably tied in together, and that arrow point's probably tied in together. I just need to be sure that like if I'm trying to fix one in the middle, I don't pull from the arrow point, because if I do that, then if it's going across sequentially, it's going to light up improperly if I have to pull hot. If I'm pulling a ground, it shouldn't matter. This should be a hot side power from what I see. So I do have a couple of the lights off each section lighting up currently, and I'm just going through and pulling them together, testing each one and getting them up and running. So actually I take back something I said. I said that little power board on the back of the solar panel isn't there. I think it's right there. I think it was just falling down against this piece when I stood it up, so I couldn't see it. So I'll have to mess with it, but that means there's a shot that I fix up these lights, and if that box works, I might be able to get this thing fully functional, which would be awesome. Because just talking numbers on this, I have $420 in this, $420 in that. That was on each of them. $150 in auction fees, or excuse me, $150 on my bid, $100 in auction fees, and then there was like 115-ish for the title, paperwork for each one, and then I paid a small amount to get the one-trip permit for me to legally be able to pull this back, and I did one-trip permits on everything except for that trailer, just to be safe. But actually, no, I did have one trip permit on that trailer. So all this I did legally. I'll take that. But if I can't get this working, I'm thinking I'll ask like $650 once I have all the lights working. I can be like, hey, you know, here's a video of everything working. My problem is just the solar piece isn't working. But if I can get it all working, then potentially $1,000 to $1,500, which would be really nice. I have no idea how, but this guy was not working. I unscrewed it and suddenly he's working. So what I'll do is I'll kind of jiggle this back here. Doesn't seem to be an issue. I'm assuming it was this clip. That's not a very happy looking clip. Let's jiggle it some. And it's going to flash. It's not staying solid, so I don't know. I'll put it back in there though and see. Another great part and a peek into the F2 or E250. It's got all these shelves, and I have a great place that I can put all my tools. So I'm probably not going to finish this today, but I can just move all my tools right here, shut the door, and they're good to go until probably tomorrow evening when I get back to it. But I'm going to go ahead and put this light back in, which was the original good light I pulled out to troubleshoot the other ones. And then I believe that those lights on, this light. Yep, that light's flashing. This light. Yep, that light's flashing. This one. Yep. This one. No. So then we'll come over to this one here. And I mean, that's a good part of the arrow. I believe we have 3 on this side. That one's not on. That one is on. Not on. Is on. Oh, so we have that one and these 2, it looks like, which should be a super quick and super easy fix. But I will go ahead and through the various different, they had Phillips on some of these. They had 8mm bolts on this one, 10mm bolts on that one. But I'll go ahead and reconstruct this side and make sure that the whole side's still working. Got this side buttoned back up, and a couple of these are really dim. Like this one. It is blinking. It's just very dim, and it looks weird on camera anyways. There's a chance I feel like I'm going to end up tracing a bad ground somewhere that like connects up in here, because this one and this one were like working and not working for a second there. So I'm assuming there's a bad ground up in there. But anyways, my next step is going to be getting to this one. I believe is the one that we identified. Yep, that'd be the one right there. So I'll pull that one down and potentially pull down like another one here, and that way I can use like the hot off of this one with the ground off of that, and if that works, then that tells us that the hot here is bad. Or I use the ground off of this one, and if that works, then the ground here is bad. So just kind of using what's next to it in order to narrow down what's going on. Okay, so obviously this one's working. We're seeing it light up. This one was not. Determined that it has a bad positive. So since these are both on that center line, I am going to go ahead and cut this positive, make a 3-way splice in there with the heat shrink and crimping, and then coming to this side will be my new positive terminal. So that should give us the results we're looking for. I'm going to go ahead and cut off the power in the trailer and then splice that in. I have now found a ladder because the battery on that one was dying, so I couldn't keep testing the lights on the other side of this, and I went ahead and stood this up. Ladder at max height. This is indeed the box that goes up there, and it looks like there's 3 contacts that were connected. And looking at these, I see more gunk on the first one, the third one, and the 6th one. So I tend to think that's where they go. That being said, I now have to try to figure out how to get this up here. And honestly, I might just, I see the first, the 6th, and the first, the 3rd, and the 6th. So I think if I can just pull them down and make contact and see if that solar panel light lights up. There's a little red light down there. That will indicate if it's charging. If that starts charging, great. While we're here, so we can see what I'm messing with. 1000 volt, 7 amp, 50 watt. So, nice little setup. But I think if I can just get this to work, then I can then start thinking about, okay, how do I get this to stay up there? But let's just hold it up there and see if I get a charge. So right down there, and I apologize, I have to brace this against my side, but there's a little red light, and now it's flashing off across the screen. So what I had to do was, oops, let me zoom out. So in order to get that red light, I had to come up here and I had to scrape off the gunk that was on 1, 3, and 6. But once I did that, kind of had to pull these out some in order, had to pull these out some because especially number 6 was like wedged up inside of this foam type stuff. And then it worked. So what I'm wondering is if I just put a bunch of like super glue on this part, can I just hold it up there for like 30 seconds, making sure that I have that red light on and then be able to make it work. So that's really what I'm hoping for, but I'm going to go ahead and give that a shot. Okay, so I was up there, ended up taking off the solar panel and taking off that box that I was going to try to connect it to. I could put JB Weld on it, which was what ended up seeming to work the best, and holding it up there, but I could not get it to consistently light that light. So what I'm going to do is go inside, totally clean this off really good, clean that off really good, and then try to reconnect everything. Because from what I was seeing online, I should be able to take off all this gunk and then get a really clean connection, clean up all these, and give that a shot. Okay, so I was able to come inside and take the top off of this, which showed me all the pieces in here. I took out the screws on the 3 that we had. I proceeded to take this out, fished up the little connections that we were trying to get outside, and then put this back in. So now I should be able to fold this back over, reinstall the little doodads, however they were, and screw them back in, and have a really solid connection on this. I also went ahead and took JB Weld as well as super glue and cleared out the bottom. So once I get this back together and let it sit overnight, it should be good to go. It is the next morning here. We still have that solar panel off. I went ahead and stripped off the 2 connectors and just attached the one side of them, because on this you can crush each side individually, which is a really nice feature. Next thing I'm going to do is put it back up there, and then I have the 4 bolts there. There were 6. I had to cut 2 of them, but 4 bolts should be more than enough. We'll put this up, bolt it down loosely, and then put these 2 in. And as soon as we connect these, the red light should come on. Now, it is pretty cloudy today, but luckily I have 2 of these. So, and that's what I was doing last night. I was working out here until this other one stopped lighting up the solar panel. Because if this one's not going to be getting light, obviously I shouldn't be expecting my other one to get light. But that being said, we're going to go ahead and put this up there, and hopefully we get a light. Well, I came out this morning in my slides, ran up there, put on the 2 connectors, and I will heat shrink them a little bit later. But it's now getting solar. I can turn it on and it lights up. Even though they're LEDs, so they look weird on the screen, they are lighting up properly. Okay, so we went ahead and got this piece first shrink wrapped right there and then taped up, and there's this fat spot where the wires were different lengths, so I just kind of had to bite the bullet. I did pull it slightly like back on that front piece or on the board side and tape up in there and then push it back in, so it should be really well taped. But at this point, I'm good to go ahead and drop it down. Now, what we found over here, when I hit test battery now, if it'll do it. Oh, it is. It's just really dim. The battery's at 100%. So coming over and working on this light, I found that every time I pushed it up, it would stop flashing. And the negative terminal was really messed up. So I just snipped off that little bit of the negative terminal and then put the vampire clip back on it, and now it seems to be working no matter how I move it, so I should be good to reinstall this one now. But since this one is also not working, I'm going to leave this one unplugged so I can use the positive and negative on this to kind of test out and see what's going on. The next light here, every time I bobbled around the positive, it would have issues. So what I went ahead and did was cut out the section of the positive that was on this vampire clip put in this blue piece and then put my vampire clip in. So I'll go ahead and heat shrink this, but now I don't have any issues moving it around. So it was just the cable started getting really frail right at where that vampire clip was. Looking at the final light here, this is kind of what I was talking about when I was saying use the leads. So when I hook up the positive from the one that I know is good to the negative of the one that's bad, it doesn't light up. When I do negative of the one that I know is good to the positive of the one that I know is bad, it does light up. So that tells me the positive's working, the negative's not. Looks like this one is this wire here, and you see maybe it's really messed up. So I'm probably going to go ahead and cut back to like here where it feels like it's a much better wire, splice in a new negative coming over here, put the vampire clip back on, and I should be good to go. Well, I ended up going pretty much as far back as I could on that one, ran a new one, and still have nothing. It's not going to work. However, I can look at this and see that this one is working, which is also just a couple inches away, and that's a good ground. So what I'll do is I'll cut this ground here, put tape on the end of it signifying it's no good, move the end of my cable over to this one, and tie in here using a butt splice, but doing it as a three-way. And since we know that ground's good, that should take care of all our problems. And there you have it. All the lights work. So now looking at this trailer, it still does have a couple issues. One, I need to check the trailer lights. This van does not have a hookup for them, so I have no idea if the trailer lights work. That's easy enough to check. Two, actually no. That's the one where it's missing the jack in this front corner. It'll have the tire back here in about an hour or two. But that just tells me that, actually, I was thinking I got the jack that was not as good working. Now, test the trailer lights. Wouldn't be bad for me to rewire the entire thing. I actually got 25 feet of wiring for this for 2 cents from Home Depot. It's a great deal. The only problem is this brake piece doesn't work, and this spring's broken. I'll probably fix the spring. That's not going to be hard. But this whole brake piece, I really don't know how to fix. It just, even when the spring's holding it up, it can still let this down. Now, it's got the lock up there, so it's not really a problem. But I got this thing running. And that's the entirety of it, and it's got all these other settings. So it looks like the sequential modes that this has is also still working. So you see that this one's not lighting up there, but it does the first two, then the second two, then the whole arrow over here. Well, if I come over here and turn it to the other side, it skips the same piece, but on the other side here. So you see it's got the two, and then the two in the middle, and then this arrow. So it definitely looks like I didn't mess up any of the wires. I think there was one hot wire that I had to pull. Yep, so there's flashing to that side, and it works perfectly. So actually, I got pretty darn lucky on it. Let's see this side. It's going that way properly. Yep. And now the 4. So I should just do the corners, I believe. Yep, it's lighting up properly. And then there is a straight line across. That's the only other one. And yep, it's working. So my biggest concern was if I pulled like a positive from the wrong one, then it could mess up one of these where it's not supposed to light up a light, or it misses a light. But overall, definitely works. The other thing I noticed is it's got this post, probably for traffic cones, I'd guess. It's got the post hole there, and the post itself is down here. So it's not perfect. And obviously it's got a little bit of rust there, paint peeling, that kind of stuff. But overall, I'm very happy with this. So this will be where we go ahead and end the video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me as we're working on this thing. And until next time.